Okay, good morning, Year 5. Well, it's a new term, which means that we have a new topic, and our new narrative topic this term is all about Mount Everest. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling excited and you're going to be seeing a lot of this mountain emoji this term. So, our writing task this week is going to be slightly different to what we normally do because you're going to be using your geography skills and you're also going to be using your history skills. Because what we'd like you to do is we'd like you to research about Mount Everest, and then we would like you to write what you found in the form of an information text. Okay, so you will be researching about the geography, where it is, and you will also be researching about the history, about the people that have climbed it. Okay, so that's why it's involving all of those skills. So what do we need to research, and what do we need to include in our information text? So if it's got a star next to it, it means that it's a non-negotiable. You need to research about it, and it needs to be included in your information text. So the first bit is going to be your introduction. That always comes first, doesn't it? And in your introduction, you need to find basic information about Mount Everest. Um, as all teachers, we use this phrase: imagine an alien is going to pick up your information text. They've got no idea what a mountain is, they've never heard of it, and they don't know where it is. So it needs to introduce the topic, it needs to explain what Mount Everest is. So what you'll answer these type of questions: what is it, where is it, how tall is it? Could answer what it's made from, what rocks is it made from, and how is it formed. Okay? So that's the first bit that you need to research. And then the other non-negotiable that you need to research and include in your information text is about climbing it and the summit. And the summit is just a posh word for the top of the mountain, the very top bit there. Okay? So when you're researching, you could find out who was the first person that climbed it, the youngest person, the oldest person, how long does it take to climb, what are the risks in climbing it. Okay, and there's lots of information on that. And you are all having to research about climbing because we're going to need it as our narrative continues. That's just a little bit of a clue about what we could be doing in the future. So you have to do your introduction, you have to do the climbing one, and then you have a choice to choose two of these topics below to research. Okay, so you could choose the climate. What's the temperature like, the weather, what's the habitat like around the mountain? Maybe it's forest, it's snowy, it could be a desert, I don't know. You could research about the history, so when was it first discovered, what was it originally called, how much has it grown, that's a bit of a clue, when was it last remeasured. You could research about the animals, so what type of animals or insects live on and around the mountain, and then finally you could just do a fun facts section, so any weird or unbelievable facts. Okay, so you know that you're doing these two paragraphs, and then you pick your other two paragraphs. Now you can choose more than two if you want to challenge yourself, but remember it's completely up to you. So here's my plan. I've put Mount Everest in the middle. I know I need to include an introduction, and I know I need to research about climbing, and then I've chosen to do about the history because I found that quite interesting, and then I've also chosen to do about the animals because in 5EZ we're quite big on animals, and we've adopted an orangutan, so we quite enjoy learning about animals. And I've put in the corner of my plan fun facts, because I might find some interesting things as I go along that I might want to include, but I'm not sure yet. Okay, so when it comes to researching, oh, wrong bit, sorry. When it comes to researching, I've given you lots of appropriate links to use. The first links are for YouTube videos because I find when I'm learning something new, I always start by finding a video on it because that's how I know I learn best. And this video is quite funny. It's a teacher and his like furry friend. They pretend to go up the mountain, so that's quite a good one. The next videos also have facts with them as well, so written facts, and they're BBC. And then finally, I've just got some websites that will be useful for gathering information. So if I show you this top one that I've been using quite a lot, have you noticed it's already organised for you? So if you're doing about the weather, it's all there. If you're doing about the history, it's all there. Okay, so it makes it quite easy for you. So I've done my research, I've watched my videos, I've answered some of the questions about what is Mount Everest and where it is. Now, lots of you that I spoke to on the phone said they're really enjoying the writing tasks. However, you were struggling to get started. So what I've done to help you with getting started and to help you with your writing, I've given you some sentence openers. Okay? They'll make your writing sound more interesting and they will help it flow as well. And I'll show an example of how I would start mine. So I would have my information, my plan here, and then I would have my sentence openers next to it as a reminder. So the first thing that I'm going to write is my first fact. I need to say what is it. So let me choose a sentence opener. I'm going to put did you know? Did you know that? And then it's Mount. Make sure I'm doing a capital letter. Everest is the tallest mountain in the world. And it's a did you know, so it's a question. Right, I want to say about the fact that it's 8,848 metres. I think that's quite a good fact to include. No, but I don't just want to say it is, because that sounds a bit boring. So first thing I'm going to do is use a sentence opener. So incredibly, that sounds a bit more interesting, doesn't it? Incredibly, comma, it is, I could put it spans, it, maybe put it reaches, that sounds a bit better, a height of, and I'm going to put my fact in, and then in brackets I'm going to say how many feet it is. I'm going to add some parentheses there, some extra information. Incredibly, it reaches a height of, good, that all makes sense. Right, my next sentence is where is it? It's in the Himalayas, it borders Nepal, China, it's in Asia. Okay, I'm not going to use a sentence opener for this because I think if I use it for every single sentence it will sound a bit robotic. So I'm going to start with Mount Everest, comma, let's which is located, which is in the Himalayas, which is located, that sounds better, doesn't it? Which is located in the Himalayas, again, proper noun, capital letter, which is located in the Himalayas, comma, borders Nepal and China, fab, and I'd probably go back and see if I can put the fact it's in Asia maybe there. So yeah, I've already done the first 3 sentences of my introduction, and you can see how using the sentence starters really helps you. So let's just check. Did you know that Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world? Incredibly, it reaches a height of 8,848 meters. Mount Everest, which is located in the Himalayas, borders Nepal and China. Right, so that's just a little bit of a hint of what you could do. Now, I've not given you my example of Mount Everest information text, because if I did, you wouldn't have to do any research because you'd already have the facts there. Okay, so that's why I've not given you one this week. But here's an example of an information text about the Stone Age. Just have a look at how you could set it out. Okay, so it's important that you have a title. Ours obviously won't be Stone Age, well, it'll be Mount Everest. Obviously, we're going to set it in paragraphs, aren't we? We're year 5, we know we need paragraphs. Okay, subheadings, which will introduce the topic of the paragraph, so lots of them will be similar to the ones that I gave you in your plan, like climate or history, for example. But lots of pictures of Mount Everest and pictures of people climbing it, because pictures help explain what you're saying further. And then finally, bullet points in your information text as well, because it just makes it easier to read. Okay? So let's just check that we know the structure. We know we've got to put our title. We know our paragraph 1 is our introduction. Our paragraph 2 is about the climbing the summit, and then paragraph 3 and 4, you guys can choose what you want to do. We know we're going to put subheadings, bullet points, sentence starters, easy peasy. We can do all this stuff, can't we? Okay, then we've got parenthesis, which we know is our extra bit of information. Oh, sorry, highlighting the wrong bit, aren't I? And your brackets, or we could put it in dashes. And then finally, our challenge of the week, our writing challenge. So this one is to use an embedded clause or relative clause to help include further detail. So embedded clause is something that I like to say it's like squished up in bed. It's in the middle of your sentence, and it should normally include a relative pronoun. That's why it can also be called a relative clause. The relative pronoun is who, which, that, or where. So having a look at my text below, can you find the embedded clause in there? Can you find the who, the which, the that, or the where? So did you know that Mount Everest is Mount Everest which? There we go, I found it. So it's in the middle of my sentence, so that's why it's embedded, and it uses the relative pronoun which, so it's a relative clause as well. Well, let me just check. If it's an embedded clause, I'll be able to take out the further detail, and it will still make, the sentence will still make sense on its own. So let's just check. Mount Everest borders Nepal and China. Yep, fab, that makes sense on its own. And let me just put it back in there. Okay, and if you notice, it's punctuated with commas, isn't it? Okay, fab. Right, so I'll just show you the resources that I've given you this week. So this is just explaining that you need to do your introduction, what you could find out for your introduction, climbing, what you could research, so you have to do those two non-negotiables, and then choose two below that you research. Absolutely loads of places to gather your information from, your sentence openers, just a reminder of what you could try and include in your success criteria. And then your publishing paper, which has jumped around. I will sort that out. Okay, so you could publish it on publishing paper, or you could publish it on Word. Okay. Final little reminder, as it's kind of like a research project this week, you're using geography, your history skills, make sure that you go at your own pace. Okay. Make sure you break your work up into manageable layers, like my little rainbow layered cake, and make sure that you're having a break. Okay, even though I do my video in one go to show you, doesn't mean that your writing should just be done in one go. Make sure you split it up as the week goes by. Okay, and we've been super impressed with all the work that you've been doing at home. It's been absolutely amazing, so keep up the great work, and I can't wait to read your information texts on Mount Everest. So good luck.